Hello and welcome to the Elvis Reviews podcast. I'm Daniel from New Orleans and I'm here with my friend Billy up in Australia, down in Australia.
Hello.
And we're covering the Good Times album today from 1974.
That's the one. Elvis's 20th studio album.
And his second album release of 1974, which there's sort of an interesting backstory. Let me see if I can do it quickly. Colonel Parker sold Elvis's back catalog back to RCA. I don't know what that means exactly, other than the fact that he had no longer any kind of control over what RCA did with the music. I don't know if this is because Elvis just got divorced and maybe needed some cash for the settlement, or maybe it had nothing to do with that. But the result is RCA in January of 1974 put out a collection of outtakes and super rare things that were never available before. And that album outsold and outcharted not just Good Times, but all three of the albums that came from the Stax sessions. This particular, the one that RCA put out, called The Legendary Performer Volume 1, it outsold all three of them combined.
Wow.
Which, Elvis, that had to be not a good thing for Elvis to see. You know what I mean?
No.
But this came out in March and charted at number 90. A Legendary Performer Volume 1 came out in January and made it to the top 50, made it to 43.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, kind of depressing. But that is the sort of context of this album.
So we've already talked about Promised Land, which was the album after this one.
Mm-hmm.
And both these albums, all these tracks came from the same session, which was Stax Studios, Memphis, December 1973.
Right.
Except I think I read two songs were actually from another session in July 73, which was I've Got a Thing About Your Baby and Take Good Care of Her. So it means that this December 73 session was 18 tracks, not 20, as I mentioned in Promised Land. I told you I'd make mistakes. We don't know everything.
No. I would say that Stax session CD is probably the better way to listen to this material. I mean, this is cool getting to hear the original albums as they came out.
As it was, yeah.
Yeah, but I think probably listening to that Stax set is probably a better way to hear this stuff.
I remember many years ago, I used to have a roommate, and I remember he was going around looking for exactly that. He was looking for original albums, because I remember he was listening to some CCR, he had some Creedence and whatever songs, and I'm just like, why don't you just get the greatest hits or whatever? And he's like, no, I want to get the original album as it was intended. And he was going around for months, trying to find the original vinyl or cassette tapes. And I'm like, that's cool. Yeah, and that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, to be able to do it in order and as it was originally out. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
When I was buying Elvis stuff, or when I first got into Elvis, they were gifts. So I was just, I had the Clam Bake soundtrack, the Madison Square Garden concert. It was just I did not listen in order.
I was thinking yesterday, when did I actually get into Elvis? And I honestly couldn't figure it out. Mm-hmm. But I think it was probably around the mid-90s.
Yeah.
Because I do have a vague memory of watching Prince after shows. Mm-hmm. And every now and then, around 95, I think he'd throw in he'd throw in Jailhouse Rock or a bit of this or that.
Right.
And I cannot remember if this is how it happened, but it's possible it happened that way, that I heard a few of these Elvis songs and I'm like, everyone's heard Jailhouse Rock their entire life.
Right.
But I think I might have heard Prince do it, and then I'm like, I might go and, actually look at this guy and look at some of the albums, and it might have happened that way, I can't remember. But yeah, I think it was around mid-90s, 95 maybe.
I'm trying to remember what year it was that A Little Less Conversation, that remix came out, and it was a huge number one. But yeah, I wonder if that brought some new people to Elvis. Because that was a super obscure song that they remixed from a movie called Little Love a Little. But a great song.
It was 2002.
Ah, okay. So that was not what got you into Prince, because you were not Prince, Elvis.
Yeah, before that. The Junkie XL 2002 remix. That's the one.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this album and Good Times and Promised Land were just the tracks from these December 73 sessions. Good Times seems to have got the first pick of the bunch.
Right.
And not to spoil my reviews of all these songs, but I think this could be a slightly better album than Promised Land.
You're probably right. I think they're pretty close. But yeah, I think Good Times is probably...
There's not a lot between them, but I think there's a few songs on here which I like. more than anything I like on Promised Land.
Promised Land was the bigger hit as far as the album goes. It made it to like number 47. Good Times only got to 90. Of course, it was competing with another Elvis album that came out in January. So
True.
That might be why.
So this is our second album review, studio album review.
Yes.
Can I just ask you, is there any particular reason why we started with mid-70s albums out of all the choices?
Oh, I thought...
Are these like your favorite albums?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because I got the impression the 70s was your favorite era. Well, I think we talked about it, and it is your favorite era.
Oh, yeah. It is, but more on the live side. Like, I've never really gotten into the studio albums that much. Not the original albums as they were released. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I've got those 50s, 60s, 70s massive box sets, and I've got all that stuff, and I've listened through those a bunch of times. Right. But studio albums as they were released, I never really sat down and like, I'm going to listen to this studio album from this year.
Right.
So
no, I don't know.
I was much, just like Prince, really, I'm much more interested in the live stuff.
Well, that makes this an interesting combination because the live stuff I really didn't pay that much attention to. I mean, I probably should have, but maybe because when I was getting into Elvis, the only live stuff were the couple of albums. There was no FTD and there were no bootlegs.
The official ones, yeah.
So I just heard, the few live albums that RCA put out, and I was much more into the studio stuff. And by the time FTD started putting it all out, it got to a point where I couldn't keep up anymore. So yeah, I kind of lost... I mean, I'm rediscovering it really because of you and you being so into the live stuff. I've heard stuff...
Oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard stuff recently that I really don't know if I've ever heard before. Like there's a live version of My Boy that you sent me a link to that I don't know if I've ever heard it before, but it was great.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be good.
Yeah, no, I would love to get into the 60s or mostly... there's some good stuff in the 60s that I think people don't know about, so that would be a good era. But yeah, no, I don't know why we started with these two 70s albums.
Kick things off with probably some of the lowest sales albums.
Yeah, I think this was one of the first Elvis albums to be deleted or cut out. Like, I think it went out of print pretty quickly because the sales were so bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a shame the way this was not a well-received album.
Oh, well, let's see what we think about it then. Let's see how we're going to receive it.
Okay.
In 2021.
I'm ready.
Okay, we have track 1, Take Good Care of Her.
Yeah.
I listened to the original version, which was by Adam Wade. This is an older track. It was from 1961, 12 years, until Elvis recorded his version. And it's been covered a bunch of times. The original is basically acoustic guitar, bass guitar, strings and vocals. I don't think there's any drums on it. And then you get to the Elvis version, which I do prefer by a mile. You've got piano on the Elvis version instead of the guitar, and you've got drums, which is good. There's a nice little organ, through the whole thing. Elvis' voice sounds great. Well, what else can you say?
Yeah,
That's about all I got.
I don't love it, especially to start off an album. But I can't help but wonder how much of this is autobiographical. Like I said, his divorce had just gone through. This is, I think, the first album. Well, when he was recording it, I think the divorce was already happening. So, maybe this is a little bit of an autobiographical thing, or whoever sequenced this album thought, let's put this song first, because there's all this tabloid stuff about Elvis and Priscilla at this point. So, from that perspective, it's good. It's a song about letting somebody go and being cool with it. But yeah, it's a little slow for me, especially to start off the album. It's a bit, it feels like it drags.
It doesn't really start the album off with a bang.
No, not at all. And no, not at all. It's not a bad song. Everything Elvis sang is great. We're just dealing with varying degrees of greatness.
Yeah. Like, I don't love this song, but it also does get stuck in my head. Like, a lot of these song titles, I'll look at them and I can barely remember the song. But as soon as I see Take Good Care of Her, I can just hear him singing it.
Yeah.
So it does stick in my head that way. So I guess there's something in there.
Yeah. I don't think I've heard the original. I'm going to have to go back and check it out.
Adam Wade is the one that I heard.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's way before Elvis's version.
Well,
yeah.
one of the big complaints about mid-70s Elvis is that it's, I don't know if overproduced is the right word. It might be. But there's just too many voices, too many instruments. This isn't necessarily my complaint, but I would have loved to have heard Elvis sit down with just one guy on an acoustic guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And just his voice and that. This is definitely a song where it feels a lot of the songs on this album that we're going to get to, including, and maybe especially the next track, I think would have been so much better in a simple acoustic arrangement. And a lot of Elvis
they're very busy.
Yes, a lot of his 70s stuff, that is a very big complaint about it. And
I did read, like reading through reviews of some of the albums, I do see, that sort of criticism. And it's like, there's too many strings and too many wailing ladies. Which I just accept it for what it is. But,
right.
I can see how it could be annoying if you don't like that sort of thing as well.
Right. Well, I think it's the most egregious example of it for me is on an album we haven't gotten to yet, but it's a song by Don McLean, who wrote American Pie and some other stuff. Yeah. And it's a song called And I Love You So. And the original,
I know that one.
Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful
That's
song.
been done live a lot of times.
Right. And Elvis sings it beautifully. But if you listen to Don McLean's his arrangement is a lot like the Beatles' Yesterday. It's like an acoustic guitar with a subtle string arrangement kind of comes in.
Yeah.
And Elvis's is bigger. And that's all later.
I think we should mention, by the time people are hearing this show, it would have been a while ago now, but you just mentioned Priscilla, and I just saw that her mother passed away.
Yeah.
So that's bad news.
I was shocked.
Saw that yesterday.
I mean, I was actually shocked she was alive still. I mean, I know Priscilla.
It's not someone I ever think about, but then when she put it up, I'm like, oh, wow, of course. And then I saw the picture, and she looks so much like Priscilla as well.
Yeah.
You can see the face right there.
Yeah, Lisa Marie really looks like Elvis, and her kids look a lot like Elvis. I can see some Priscilla in there too. But yeah, I did see that. Yeah, August is not a good month for the family, I guess.
Well, now that that's happened.
Yeah. Track 2?
Let's go to track number 2. Is it Loving Arms or In Your Loving Arms?
It's Lovin' Arms, and I've seen it without the G on some things. Yeah, exactly. Lovin' Arms. But I've also seen it with the G, so I'm not sure what's correct. Okay, I love this song. I love that the climax of this song is at about 1:43, and the song goes on further. There's a part in this song where he screams, well, I don't know, I guess he didn't scream it, but it's much louder than the rest. Dreaming of the arms that held me tight, I think is the line that he just like screams toward the end of the song, and it's great. Second song in a row that's about lost love.
I think we'll be saying that a lot.
Yeah. So both track 1 and 2 are kind of the same theme. This was redone in 1981. They stripped out the music and recorded a new backing track for it. And Jerry Reed was part of that remaster or remix, whatever it was. And I think I kind of prefer that version, but it's the same vocal. Yeah, I don't have much to say. It's a great song. I love Elvis's voice throughout, especially that part I mentioned. There's a version that Glenn Campbell does that is just simple, acoustic, and to me, fantastic. I like Elvis's voice better than Glenn's, personally, so I would love to have heard a version of this a little more stripped down, I think. But I still love it.
That's something I notice, which, you go back to the 60s and 70s, and somebody will write a song, somebody will sing it, and then over the next year or two, like 8 different people will release that song.
Yeah.
And it's like that. Just imagine that happening today.
Yeah, it does not exist.
You can't even comprehend how that would work in 2020. It's just, it's such a strange concept to think about in today's world.
Yeah, I guess it goes back.
Like someone has a big hit, and then just everyone covers it, and obviously they're legally allowed to. So it's just weird. That would never happen today.
No, but I assume it goes back to like when Sinatra and Billie Holiday, and they were all just covering these same standards, that they were just, it used to be they were just, songwriters and that's it. And I think in the 60s and 70s, it started to change. Like the Beatles did all their own songwriting, and they were, they didn't rely on outside songwriters. And so you had lots of singer-songwriters in the 70s. But yeah, this practice of everybody doing a song hadn't ended yet. I don't quite know when it stopped, but
it's just a weird thing to look at from today's point of view, and it's just like, wow, that happened.
Yeah.
but I guess if you were there when it happened, it was probably like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, it makes for some interesting stuff. Like I like Dean Martin, and you can buy like a Dean Martin album, and he's covering songs like "Gentle on My Mind," which is a Glenn Campbell song, "Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree."
Yep.
Mean Leroy Brown by Dean Martin.
Oh, that's a good song. Yep.
It is, but it's odd to hear Dean Martin and not, Jim Croce singing it. But yeah, it makes for some very interesting things since people were all just covering whatever was a hit. But
And I guess the pool of songs that you could record was limited because nobody had written all these songs yet. And then as time went on, more and more people started writing songs, and then there was way more songs to choose from.
well, yeah.
Maybe that's part of it as well. It's like, wow, well, we've only got about 8 different songs we can choose, so that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I suppose limited selection could play a part for sure.
But yeah, Loving Arms, I looked it up, written by Tom Jans, and he put it out on his self-titled album in 1974. Again, I listened to the original. It's okay, but definitely prefer Elvis' version. Elvis' voice just, as usual, just elevates a song.
Yeah.
The band arrangement is definitely better on this version as well. And I'm sure, like we're going to say 1,000 times, he just has a way of taking a song and just making it his own. And I've got the exact same note that you said. I really like it when his voice gets up there around 140, 145.
Yeah.
And it took me by surprise because I thought this might just be another, slow sort of country song, pretty average vocal, well, as average as Elvis can get,
Right.
which is still great.
Right.
But then, he goes up for those high notes, and I was just like, wow. And then I listened to the song about 3 more times.
Yeah.
It's like, just where does that come from? So that was, it was great.
When he does that singing somewhere in the lonely night, it just gives me chills every time. Because, it's just like this primal... I keep calling it a scream. He's singing it. He's in tune. He's not yelling, but it takes on a thunderous, desperate quality. It's fantastic.
Which is what I love. Which is what I want to hear.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing. Is just to hear how great his voice can be. And singing these sort of slow ballads, like, okay, if that's the thing you like, then that's the thing you like. I'm not a massive fan of that.
Right.
We know how good his voice can be. So when I hear examples like him singing the line in this song, that's what I love, because it's like he's showing us this is the voice.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yes, I know. That's why I'm listening.
Right. It's like everything else sounds like Elvis on a leash. And then there's a couple of songs where he's just unleashed and
let
thing.
Go.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So we get on to track 3?
That's this one. Track 3, here we go. I Got a Feeling in My Body. Now, this is one of 2 tracks, like I said, that are not from the December 73 Stack Sessions. This is actually from July 73 Stack Sessions. This, as a single, reached number 6 on the country charts, Billboard Country Singles Chart. And this might just be my favorite track on this album.
Yeah, it's great.
It's got, it's upbeat. It's not just another country ballad sort of thing.
Right.
You got this great electric piano solo. It's got this really funky groove. The percussion is great. There's some great wah-wah guitar just all over the song. The bass line's good. The backing vocals were mixed a little bit loud for me, but it's okay. Elvis's voice still is right there. And there's an organ which comes in every now and then, I think, on the chorus. That's nice. Yeah. And then, you get to like the last 30 seconds or so, it just kicks off. It's a good song. I think this is my favorite. There might be one other possibility, but this is right up there.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
What do you think?
Same thing. I wish this song and If You Talk in Your Sleep from the next album, previous review, I wish that had been a single. Although I don't know who would have embraced it, but I love it. It reminds me a lot of If You Talk in Your Sleep. It's that same great, funky, but this one's gospel, if you want to call it that. I mean, it's all Old Testament stuff in the lyrics. And when he was on fire with that, there was just no stopping him. He was like a wild Southern preacher. He was incredible. This is one of the few songs I could imagine somebody like Prince doing live with a real workout.
Oh, wow. I hadn't even thought of that.
There's hardly any, but this is a song Prince absolutely, lyrically, musically, he could have done something really crazy with this. But that's not going to happen. So, but yeah.
Because Prince is not unknown to like a sort of... He rarely recorded them, but he's not unknown to have liked this sort of fast, upbeat gospel tracks.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was one sort of thing on that Sign of the Times Deluxe thing. Is it When the Dawn of the Morning Comes? Is that the one?
That's exactly the one.
That's the one, yeah. Like, there's a few here and there. Very rare, but they exist.
Yeah. And live, he would just kind of, this seems like a song that somebody like Prince with one of his bands could have just worked out on for 10 minutes on stage
Love
or something.
Just imagine a Love Sexy after show with Mavis Staples up there. You can just imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, this is the Elvis podcast.
Right. Yeah, this is a great song. This is one of the only ones that I couldn't help myself, and I went back and listened to take 1, take 4, I just couldn't help myself. And right from the first take, it's just a fun track. And Elvis is clearly super into it. And it's the first, like you said, it's the first upbeat track on the album. You had two. The first song is a dirge as far as I'm concerned. And
a funeral dirge.
I've got the same note for track 5. So, but yeah, this is the first upbeat. This is when everything gets going. I love the song. Great song.
Well, I was just about to ask you, because I say this is recorded July 73. I was just about to ask when did he get divorced, and I just looked it up, 9th of October. So this is, a happy upbeat song before the divorce. And then you get to the songs from December 73 after the divorce, and they're all sort of sad and about lost love and regret. Right. So that makes sense.
I think Elvis, when it was a gospel song like this, he could commit to it really, really fully. I think he could. I mean, I don't know how.
No matter what was going on.
I assume he was a very devout, strong believer. And so when he did this kind of music, it's so authentic. It's just so him. It's just, and I think no matter what was going on, he could get into this kind of music. I think it goes back to his childhood growing up in Mississippi and going to these, this is where he discovered music, was at church. So yeah, this is very, very much Elvis's roots. And I think that's why it's such a great song and why he sounds so into it, because he is.
Yeah. Okay, so then we got track number 4, If That Isn't Love. What about this one?
Well, this one, I guess this would be contemporary Christian music. It's another religious song, much slower, pretty basic. I don't know. I don't love it. It's kind of like Help Me. Help Me is, from the other album, Help Me is a little more, it builds a little more. Yeah, I think
Help Me's way better, but it's probably just because I've heard Help Me like 100 times, and I've heard this about 6 times.
Yeah, my brain keeps organizing them into similar things. So I immediately think of Help Me when I hear this. I think of If You Talk in Your Sleep when I hear the previous one. They just feel connected.
Yeah, that's that same sort of style. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely prefer Help Me to this. I don't love it. It's just a song, as I've heard said.
It's just a song, as some people say.
What about you?
I listened to the original, which was from Dottie Rambo. She wrote it, and wow, it's a fairly different version to what we get from Elvis. But listening to that version, knowing the way that Elvis can transform a song, I was listening to the original, and I could definitely see, this is a song that Elvis would listen to and pick and rework into his style.
Yeah.
And it was interesting listening to it with that sort of mindset, because you listen to it and you're like, I can imagine him listening to this.
Yeah.
This is an Elvis song in the making right there.
Yeah.
But I like the Elvis version. I get this sort of, honky tonk country vibe in it. It's probably just the piano or something. Vocal, good as always. We get a few good high notes, and he really belts out, which I love. And you really get some feeling, some emotion out of this, I felt, like more than anything so far on this album. Just a few notes, but a few.
Yeah,
I think you can listen to some of these, like these sort of country ballads or whatever you want to call them. And it's just like, it's Elvis by numbers. He could record these in his sleep, except there might be, a couple of big lines at the end and that's it. But I actually thought there was some sort of feeling behind this one at some points.
Yeah.
Which is the first time I felt that so far in this album.
Well, again, when he does religious themed music, he definitely is fully committed and seems to really be believing and losing himself in what he's singing. So, I could see that. I do think you're right. I think there's some real sincerity in the song. It's just not one I never skip it. I just don't pay as much attention to it when it's on. It's just kind of there.
Oh, yeah. It's an album track.
Right. That's my... It's not bad.
It comes and goes. It's on, and you're just like, halfway through that song, you're like, what's the next track?
Oh, yeah. And then when you find out, you'll go back to the track.
So let's go. Track number 5.
Yeah. She Wears My Ring.
Which has been covered by 5 billion people, approximately.
Right.
I already know this song because I've heard Roy Orbison sing it. I've heard Johnny O'Keefe. I've heard so many people do covers of this song. Everybody did it.
Are they all the same tempo, or any of them a little faster? Or
they're varying, but they're all similar. I think I haven't heard anything radically different. But I really like his vocal performance on this one. We get to hear a good range of his voice, from like some really low bass notes up to belting out some big powerful notes as well. You got this little Italian sounding mandolin. It could just be a guitar. I don't know. It sounds like a mandolin.
Or a Spanish
little
guitar.
solo in the middle to break it up. And then Elvis comes back in to finish it off. It's definitely one of the better versions of this song, which I've heard over the years.
Right.
What about you?
It reminds me of track one. It reminds me of Take Good Care of Her. Both of them feel to me like they just kind of drag a little. This feels very old-fashioned for a song to come out in 1974. I feel like it could be looked at as sort of, I don't know, it feels a little out of touch with the 70s. God, I'm being so negative, and I love everything Elvis sings, but side A of this album, I don't like a lot of. I like everything on side B, which we'll get to.
It sort of starts and ends with a whimper.
Yeah, this one really does remind me of Take Good Care of Her. They just feel like that same tempo, that same kind of. Elvis sounds great. Yeah, I wonder if, again, since the divorce was just happening, what an interesting choice of song to do, when you're divorcing someone who is no longer wearing your ring. It makes me wonder why he chose a little bit. But I don't have anything else. Well, I like it because I like all Elvis, but it is nowhere near my favorite in general or on this album. It's not a low point. I don't skip any song on this album, but I don't love She Wears My Ring very much.
You said this song might seem a bit out of place. Mm-hmm. The reason for that could be this song is literally from 1862.
Yeah, so old.
It was written by a Mexican doctor who at the time was exiled to France. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, the original version called La Golondrina. So yeah, if it seems like it's an old-fashioned song, it really, really is.
Yeah, and I don't mind that. He does Danny Boy in the Jungle Room sessions, and that's an ancient song, and I love it. He does Santa Lucia in the entire thing in Italian in the mid-'60s, and that's ancient. And Solo Mio was... So I don't really mind the age. I guess just the arrangement or the whole thing just feels like it drags to me. I mean, I can't imagine singing it faster. It doesn't work singing it faster. It just drags it down to me.
Yeah.
It's just not a...
what can you do?
Yeah, it's not a fun song to listen to for me, I guess, in general.
Well, this song, I guess, basically was a standard.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has covered this song. Just because it's a standard doesn't mean it's good.
Well, and I hate to call it not good. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, well, you don't have to like everything.
Yeah, I know.
Even though some Prince fans would argue that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap up side A, since it's not your favourite, and let's go to obviously what can only be your favourite, which is side B.
Right.
Track 6, the first track on side B, I've Got a Thing About You, Baby. Now, should I go first or should you go first?
No, you go first.
Okay, wow. Kick off side B, I was not expecting this sort of song. Written by Tony Joe White.
Yes.
And he released it first in 1972, and he wrote Poke Salad Annie.
Yeah.
I listened to his original, and it's just, a nice little song. But yeah, he wrote Poke Salad Annie, which is great. Right. But Elvis's version, I really like it. I like how it starts off with just the bass and drums, that little stabby organ comes in, and it's fairly similar to the original, but yeah, I like this version way more. And it's got that catchy melody.
Yeah.
And, throughout the song. And that's what I like. I like a song that's stuck in my head. The backing vocals sing that melody. The guitar does it. It's done on the organ. I think it's done on the bass as well. It's just, at some point through the song, almost every instrument or voice sings that melody. I really like this song.
I do too.
I think this would be my third favorite on the album.
Yeah, I might be everything on this side I really kind of like. So yeah, I don't know.
Not that ranking them means absolutely anything. But,
right.
But I know what my top two are, so I'm guessing this has to be third.
Right. I also love this. A lot of people hated the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra did 2 albums backing Elvis posthumously.
Oh, is this the one you sent me just before the show?
Yeah, it is, and I like that version a lot.
I definitely, it's a different version to the original.
Yeah.
And it's never going to replace the original, but yeah, I thought that version was fine as well. I liked it. It was updated.
Yeah, there's a lot of percussion and stuff that's not on the original that I like a lot.
And because it's new, it all sounds really clean,
Yeah.
Recorded very well. The horns are like right there. It's all very, it's recorded with new technology from these days, not the olden days.
Well, so I know there were some interviews, and I probably should have watched them again, but they were talking about this song in particular, the people who did the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra thing. And they were saying that they were able to change the whole tempo of this song because once they stripped out the backing, Elvis's vocal had a different rhythm going that I don't even know how to explain it, but Elvis's vocal was somehow, you could set it to a whole different tempo without changing the speed or anything of his vocal, and it works. It's another one of those things where I think Elvis was hearing everything in his head. He was doing something a little bit different than the band. It works perfectly. But it's just fascinating that they were able to take that vocal and tie it to a whole different tempo, and it just works. But the album track, I agree. It's a highlight for sure. It would have been a great way to start the album.
It would have been a much better start than,
It's a great start to side B. It's Elvis is happy. He's singing about a happy topic. It's one of the best songs on the album. It's probably one of the highlights of the 70s, maybe. I mean, if you were putting together a list of his best.
Oh, wow. You put it up that high. Wow.
I think I might. Yeah, I think I would. I kind of think of it, even though it's very different than Burning Love, for some reason I kind of think of them together as big, great Elvis 70s songs.
Burning Love is great.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
No, we probably won't, because it's not on any album. Isn't that crazy? Neither is...
we'll figure it out. Okay, then what we'll do is we'll pick... we'll pick like maybe 8 non-album tracks, and we can just review them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they stuck it on an album called Burning Love and Hits from His Movies. So you've got Burning Love followed by like really odd choices from the movies.
Just a weird compilation, yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened when the Colonel sold RCA all these masters back. They made this deal with a group called Camden, and they started putting out these records.
Yeah, I remember that name.
Yeah, to capitalize on a hit like Burning Love, but they only had access to things from prior to 73, so they put all these movie songs on it. Anyway, I don't know if that's interesting or not, but yeah, I've Got to Think About You, Baby.
It is. I didn't know it.
But yeah, so you can find Burning Love on an album, but it's just full of other songs that don't belong on the album with it. Same thing with Separate Ways and Always on My Mind.
Oh, really? That wasn't on an album either?
Not an album.
It was just a single?
It was basically just a single, and then, like I said, this other group that was like subcontracted with RC. I don't know how that works, but they put out an album called Separate Ways with a modern picture of Elvis on the front, but when you get the album, it's all 60s songs.
That just reminds me of like a Prince bootleg concert from 1988, and it's got a picture from like 1995 on the cover.
Right.
And you're like, that doesn't work.
Yeah. No, they would get like one single, so they had Separate Ways and Always on My Mind, and they put that as, the first track on side 1, the first track on side 2, and everything else was like movie
was just
songs.
Compilation stuff.
Yeah. Very strange. His marketing throughout the 70s didn't do him any favors. What's going on?
Again, if he'd just been more interested in the business side of it, imagine how different things may have been. Maybe he would have made similar choices. Who knows?
I think he was loving being out on tour and being with the fans, and I think that was his main focus.
On stage,
he really just didn't...
alive, electric.
Yeah, I think he was tired of the studio. I mean, I think that's why the Jungle Room had to be recorded at Graceland. He was just like, I'm not leaving.
He was done with going out to studios.
Yeah, but I've Got to Think About You, Baby is a definite highlight.
So let's go. Track 7, My Boy.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go.
Okay. 2 highlights in a row. It's another song about regret. I can't imagine ever liking this song by anybody but Elvis. There's no way I would like this song by anybody else, because it's not a guilty pleasure, because I love it, unabashedly, but I could see how some people might. I mean, the lyrics are kind of like a TV movie, and it's maybe a little. I could see how someone would consider it cheesy because it's very overblown, but it just doesn't matter. Elvis just transcends all of that. He carries this song on his shoulder. I mean, it's unbelievably good. And the live versions, like the one you sent me, are probably even better than this. It's a masterful song. It's just his voice. I mean, his vocal is incredible, particularly toward the end when he's just really gone with the "Because You're All I Have, My Boy." It's just, I hate to say powerhouse. I feel like I don't use that phrase, but it is just a powerhouse performance. It's another highlight of a side that has 3 more highlights coming up. Kind of. Yeah. If I heard this by anybody else, I would immediately just say it was this cheesy song about some guy getting a divorce.
Sorry, Richard Harris.
Oh, really? Richard Harris did this?
Yeah.
Well, did you listen to it? Because he kind of sings. He doesn't really sing.
Yeah. I listened. I think he did the first. Well, let me start from the start.
Okay.
I did not expect this song. It's just, again, like there's a few songs that I hear and I'm just like, wow, I didn't expect this sort of song. And like the original of this is a French song. Okay. And on the first listen, second listen, I wasn't sure if I liked it at all because it was just so unexpected. And what is this? And then after a few more, I'm like, yeah, I do like this actually. It's got a big, strong chorus. And I actually listen to the lyrics for a change. Like, I don't listen to lyrics that closely.
Right.
Sometimes not at all. And, like subtle lyric things, I usually won't even notice. But the lyrics in this song are so like, just smack you in the head. Like so obvious. It's like, it's hard not to hear them.
Right.
But yeah, I listened to the English version by Richard Harris, and it was okay. But while listening to that, all I could think of was, I can't wait to hear Elvis do this.
Yeah, I like Richard Harris.
But yeah, it is a bit more spoken,
right?
The way that he does it. But
well, he was.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Richard Harris was the guy he was Arthur in Camelot, right? I believe Richard Harris.
I don't know.
Richard Harris played King Arthur in Camelot, and so if you've got the soundtrack to that, you've got a bunch of Richard Harris on there. And he was the first guy that did the song MacArthur Park, which is...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it's more famous for people making fun of the lyrics about leaving the cake out in the rain. I've heard more people talk about that than the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I had no idea Richard Harris did this song, and I'm definitely going to check that out.
It's on YouTube.
I will be checking it out.
But yeah, Elvis's version, it's really nice. It starts off very acoustic, and like you said, we get some really emotion, we get emotion out of Elvis, some emotional singing. And then you got the big orchestra comes in for the chorus. That's good. But if I understand the lyrics right, it's about the father and the son. The son is asleep, and the father's saying, your
mother and
mum and dad are having some issues right now. And then at the end, it's like, well, you're asleep, so you probably didn't hear any of it.
Right. It's probably good because it might give the kid a complex, because Elvis decides, no, I'm not going to leave your mother. I'm going to stay here because of you. But we hate each other.
Because of you, yeah.
The two of us can't stand each other, but because of you...
Yeah, you're gonna live in a house that where we hate each other, but just remember, we're doing it for you.
We're sticking it out just for you. So I hope the kid was asleep. Otherwise, he's going to have mental problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I mean about it having kind of a TV movie quality about the lyrics. Like, I can see that in a Lifetime movie or something.
Midday movie right there.
But his voice just transcends it. It's just, he absolutely carries this song that, like I said, by anybody else, I would definitely just dismiss as cheesy and cliched or all those things. But his voice is just too undeniable. Well, I'm done.
So let's go track 8, Spanish Eyes. Now, I looked up the original of this, and the original version was written by Bert Kaempfert and a few other people. But as soon as I saw Bert Kaempfert, all I could think of was that song by the Bare Naked Ladies, One Week, because there's one line in that where it says Bert Kaempfert's got the mad hits.
Really? Oh, okay.
And, there's some ridiculous lyrics in that song. And at one point in my life, I knew every lyric in that song, like chicken to China, the Chinese chicken. Like, you just know these things. But as soon as I saw Bert Kaempfert, I'm like, oh, that's the guy from the Bare Naked Ladies song, which is, I know, a ridiculous reference point, but that's what I had.
That's great. Well, that song has so many lyrics. I think the X-Files Smoking Man lines are the only ones I really remember. But I remember the line you're talking about, and it just flew right past me. I think I knew Spanish Eyes by Engelbert Humperdinck.
Yep, there's been a lot of covers, including our friend Willie Nelson.
Oh,
covered this
sense.
in 1988 with Julio Iglesias.
Oh, nice. I wonder if it was like the same album as To All the Girls I've Loved Before. You remember that? Willie and Julio?
I don't remember that.
To All the Girls.
I probably heard it. I just don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the words.
I know the song, of course. I just don't remember that version.
Yeah, Willie and Julio. So it was probably, maybe they did a whole album together, and Spanish Eyes was one of the tracks. Perhaps.
Because I listened to the original, the Bert Kaempfert version from 1965. The original name is Moon Over Naples, which straight away made me think of
Dean Martin.
Moon Over Parma.
Oh, okay.
Moon Over Parma from Cleveland. What's that show with Drew Carey?
The Drew Carey Show?
Yeah, that one. The theme song for that show was Moon Over Parma, I think.
Okay.
Before it was changed to Cleveland Rocks by the presidents of the United States of America.
I probably would have thought of the song Moon Over Bourbon Street by Sting.
Oh, well,
because I live here. And
knowing where you're from, that makes sense. So, yeah, Moon Over Naples, it's an orchestral instrumental. It's a nice listen. You can check it out on YouTube if you want to do that. But listening to the original, before I listened to Elvis's version, I couldn't even comprehend how this could be translated into like an English version, with vocals. Yeah. Like, it was just an instrumental. So then I listened to that, and then I listened to Elvis' version a bunch of times, and oh man, I just love the way Elvis sounds on this one.
Yeah.
I like the fact that in one way, doing songs like this and the one we just talked about a minute ago, whatever it was. She Wears My Ring.
Okay.
Probably other people were doing this as well. But he was like opening Americans' eyes that, songs do exist from other countries. It's not all about America.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because he seemed to do a lot of songs, like you mentioned before, O Sole Mio. He did She Wears My Ring. He did this one. Some of these songs are not that old. Some of them are really old, like 1860s. But they're not American songs. Like they're Italian, they're Spanish, they're French, they're Mexican, they're
Irish.
Other country songs, Irish as well.
Yeah.
So
I'll Take You Home Again, Kathleen.
Glad that he did that. I'm glad that he did that because even to this day, most Americans are so America-centric. Yeah. They just live in that bubble and it's not their fault. I mean, if you watch the news is just all about America. They barely mention other countries. Even if there's like massive disasters, that'll be like 3 seconds they talk about it. So I'm not surprised that Americans focus on America because that's all that they see and all that they hear.
Right.
Being in Australia, it's always been a weird mix of local Australian stuff, a good chunk of British stuff since we are originally from British, Commonwealth, but then probably almost equal American stuff. So we've got a really interesting mix of local Australian stuff and American and British, which is why I can watch comedy from anywhere.
Me too.
And fully take on and fully get it. But I know a lot of Americans can watch say a comedy from England and they just don't even get it. Like it's satire or sarcasm, and Americans aren't that great. Some Americans.
I've tried to get a couple of people to watch Would I Lie to You, the panel show.
Oh, that's the best show. It's the best show.
Anyway, yeah.
But back to that, I'm just happy that he was choosing songs from, outside his immediate area and country and then bringing them to an American audience because, and again, other people might have been doing that, but I don't know about them.
Well,
I know he was doing it, so that's why I'm saying it.
Yeah, and I think he was very interested in doing that, particularly after he came back from the army. I don't know how much he was exposed to other things while he was in Germany, but I know he was exposed to some because he came back wanting to do It's Now or Never, and those lyrics were specifically written for Elvis for that tune. In fact, there's a Dean Martin song set to the same tune called There's No Tomorrow. So he came and he did a song called Surrender, which is an old Italian song called Sorrento or Return to Sorrento. So when he came back from the army and from being in Europe for a little while, I think he had more of an interest in doing that and got to be exposed to some other kinds of music. And he never put himself in any category, in my opinion. He never was like, oh, it's not a rock song, I can't do it, or that's not my style. Whatever appealed to him, whether it was Spanish Eyes or I'll Take You Home Again, Kathleen, or Danny Boy, or he would do it. If he liked it, he would sing it. Yeah, I feel like he just had no separation with that. Same thing with Race, just whatever it was, if it struck him emotionally, he would record it without any real thought to whether or not it was an Elvis song.
I'll make it an Elvis song.
Yeah, and he absolutely did. Yeah, I like Spanish Eyes. I don't know if that's a Spanish guitar throughout, but there's some great, little acoustic picking going on.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I love when Elvis did sort of Latin-influenced songs like this. I don't know, I forget what album. It might be Elvis Now, another 70s one. There's a song called Padre that's pretty similar to this, but more powerful. You're going to love that.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, you're going to love Padre. Okay.
Anyway, now we're going to track 9. Talk about the good times.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Another good one.
I've already changed my mind. This is my favorite song on this album.
Isn't it great? Yeah.
Originally written and performed by Jerry Reed in 1970. I listened to the original, and it's also amazing.
Yes, it is.
Elvis barely changed anything because it was so good already as it was. But I love this sort of song. The bass line is great. The chord changes. It's a very gospel chord progression. It's so good. And the bass is more prominent on the Elvis version than the original, which of course I love. He got great guitar solos. He got just great piano bits as well. The only thing he didn't keep, there's one chord right near the end of the Jerry Reed version, which Elvis didn't do. It faded out. So I don't know if he did it. He might have still done it, but it was faded out. This is my favorite track. And I listened to this about 5 times before I realized, well, at least one reason why I think I like this song so much. apart from being upbeat compared to all, the slow country things, and Elvis sounds great, the band sounds great, basic gospel chord progression, and then it hit me. What's another song which has a very similar sort of style, very similar chord progression, a ridiculous song by Prince called Right the Wrong?
Really? Does it have a similar? I got to compare those.
Oh, yes. You go and listen to the chords in that and then listen to this and you're just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then looking back at what was Prince doing in 95 after shows, throwing in random Elvis tracks. So if he had heard this and he's like, I'm going to do a song like this. And, that song has ridiculous lyrics about being 6 foot in the grave. Is he talking about Elvis? I don't know. But it's possible.
Yeah.
But it's a very similar song musically.
I never would have put those two together. But yeah, I can hear it. I'm going to listen to it. But I can kind of hear it in my head what you're talking about.
Go listen to Right the Wrong and then listen to this one. And you're just like, are you kidding me?
Wow. That is definitely...
It took me about 4 or 5 listens before I'm like, what song is this reminding me of? Like, it's reminding me of a gospel song. I know that just from the chords. And then it's just like, bang, Right the Wrong.
Yeah, you're right. Especially that part where it goes into double time kind of and Right the Wrong toward the end.
Yep.
Right the Wrong.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I can hear it.
This version, you got nice guitar solo, little keyboard rundown. My only issue with this song is it's too short. And I know you can't maintain this sort of energy forever. This couldn't be an 8-minute track, but it's just so good. You can listen to this like 3 or 4 times, just repeat.
Yeah.
Easy, just great. That's all I've got to say.
I feel like I don't know this for sure, and if it exists, it probably would be released by now. But this seems like a song Elvis would have stuck with for about 8 minutes or so, just because he was loving it. Have you ever heard his version of "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right"?
Yeah,
which is an old Bob Dylan song.
Probably.
It's just a jam.
I recognize the title.
It's on one of the 70s.
And I don't listen to Bob Dylan, so it must have been the Elvis version I heard.
Well, it's real similar to this, except it was not meant to be recorded. They just kind of recorded it and released it and edited it to make it seem like a song, like a full song, not just him jamming. This definitely seems like the kind of thing where when this one fades out, Elvis probably wouldn't have wanted to let this go for a while.
This is a song I need to go and search out if there's any outtakes, because that's something I'd like to hear.
Yeah, this does sound like the kind of thing Elvis would just jam to for hours. Yeah, it's super fun. It's not my favorite on the album. I don't know what my favorite is. It might be My Boy. But it's a highlight, and I love the Jerry Reed version.
Yeah.
I remember when I first heard it, thinking that Elvis was... My opinion at first was that Elvis was too young to be singing this song from this point of view, because it's very nostalgic for a time that, I wasn't here for, where everybody knew their neighbors and everybody was at big prayer meetings. And I wonder if this reminded him of growing up in Tupelo. I bet it did, because he talks about people at big prayer meetings and people knowing their neighbors. And this probably appealed to him for that reason, that it really harkens back to what it was like when he was growing up and what it's like in 1970.
But is this the one where it's got the lyrics about, everybody's got
all the guns are loaded,
guns loaded,
front doors are bolted? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I hate people who are like, oh, this song is just as relevant today as it was back then. But it really is.
Yeah, more so, which those people say as well. But yeah, more so.
Yeah.
Or it's always been like this. Maybe it's just always been like this. We just didn't have the internet, so we didn't really know. Now we know how bad it is everywhere.
Yeah, now you've got everybody on... Things have always been bad, but now you've got everyone on the internet telling you that they're bad. So now it's like, oh, wow, everything's really bad.
Right. No, it was better when we were all in the dark, I think.
Oh, yeah, for
Honestly.
sure. I just had a look. There is a take 3 of Talk About the Good Times. So that's on YouTube.
Is it any longer?
It's 3 minutes 46, but that if it's just messing around in the studio, it could be like talking or something before or after. But 3:46, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I love it. It's your favorite on the album. It is close to my favorite.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm saying it's not my favorite because My Boy is my favorite. But I listen to Talk About the Good Times much more often than My Boy, because it's just so much fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, My Boy is not a...
It's not a fun song.
What's the opposite of depressing? It's not a, it's not a feel-good song.
Right, yeah. It's not a joyous...
But this definitely is.
It is.
Imagine if this was your alarm clock every morning. Just, a couple of minutes of Elvis singing this. This is what you wake up to every morning. How could you not be in a good mood every day?
Yeah, you're right.
I think I need to change this my ringtone or something on the phone. And it just plays the whole song.
Yeah, that is definitely a favorite.
Oh, man. Okay, we are at the end of side B, the end of the CD. It's track 10. Good Time Charlie's Got the Blues.
Yep, another song I love.
Oh, okay. It's a nice, simple melody on this one. The sound of the bass is really upfront, which I love. It's got a short but nice guitar solo, which sort of continues into the next verse. Like Elvis will sing a line and then there's another little guitar thing. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. And Elvis' voice is mixed right up front as well. It's like right there. Mm-hmm. It's not, mixed back like it can be sometimes where he wants to sort of blend in. It's right there. And we actually get a second guitar solo after another verse, so that's cool. That's not normal. You're going to get two guitar solos in a song. But this one, it's sort of a downbeat song to end the album on, I think. Mm-hmm. With an album called Good Times, how could you not end on the track Good Times? Talk about the good times. Right. And end on a high, but they end on this sort of like that's how you're gonna just fade out on the end of this album.
Well, I mean,
that's again, this is what you get when the record companies are choosing the sequencing on the albums.
Yeah.
But, well, I mean, you don't want to fall asleep to an album. You want to be excited. Anyway, that's what happens when the money makers are making decisions. What can you do?
I kind of like it as an ending. I like, because it's another good, it's Good Time Charlie's Got the Blues, so it's got the title is in it. I mean, it's definitely a subversion of Good Times. It's the opposite of a
True.
good time.
Yeah. It's about the blues. It's about having the blues. It's depressing. It's like, let's end on this depressed sort of song.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I think it's so good. I think it's got such a good, lonely vibe about it. Yeah, there's a version of it by a woman named Holly Cole, this jazz singer, and she does a really nice version. She also covers Question of You by Prince.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it gave me some different appreciation of the song. But no, I love this song. He did it live only once, and I love that version as well. That's the one where when he gets to the line, if you fool around, you'll lose your wife. If you play too long, you'll lose your life. And in the live version, after he says you lose your wife, he says, I already did that. And then when he gets to the line, if you mess around too long, you'll lose your life. And he said, almost did that. And I think he'd been in the hospital for something recently. I need to re-research that. But
oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I love this song. I know it's not a happy song, but it's one of the better ballads. I love all the guitar parts that you already mentioned. And it's not overblown the way some of the ballads can be. This one is more simple. Yeah. And I really appreciate that. And you do hear his voice up front, like you also said. And so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what you want to hear.
Yeah, and I wonder, the person who did sequence this album may have had something in mind. I mean, it starts with Take Good Care of Her, which is about someone who just lost somebody and is, wishing them well, but it's still a lonely song. And then it ends on this, everybody's gone away, found the sunshine, leave the rain. And it's just, but no, I actually feel like it's not an upbeat note, but it does tie the album together, because I do feel like it harkens back to side one, which is the more slow, depressing stuff, but it is superior to everything on side one except Got a Feeling in My Body and maybe Love in Arms. So no, I like this as an album ender on this one, I think. It's a bit of a downer.
I think we could be giving the people responsible for sequencing too much credit. I really don't think there was much thought put into it. It's just like, just chuck these on there and just get it out there and make some money.
You might be right, but I don't know. Because like I said, Elvis, his divorce was just becoming final. It kicks off with a song called Take Good Care of Her, which seems like a song directly addressing a breakup. I don't know. I feel like somebody might have put some thought into this.
Sure, in retrospect, we can look back and say, well, this was happening, so that could mean this. But yeah, I don't buy it.
Well, I would say since this was the first pick of the Stax sessions, that much more than, say, the next album, Promised Land, that this is much less odds and ends. This had much more thought put into it than Promised Land, at least.
Anyway, we're done. That's the 10 tracks.
Great.
That's it.
Yeah, and we don't know what we're doing next.
We haven't even decided yet.
No.
I'm waiting for an email from someone.
Yeah.
At ElvisReviewsPodcast@gmail.com to suggest an album or a live album,
anything,
something.
Really.
Let's go.
I'll do a movie if they suggest a movie, an album, a concert, whatever.
See, if we reviewed, are you talking a movie soundtrack or the actual movie?
I would like the actual movie.
You want to do the movies.
I want to make you watch an Elvis movie.
I have barely seen probably more than 10, 15 minutes of any of the movies. I've never sat down and watched a whole thing.
That's why I want to make you watch an Elvis movie.
I know I'll probably like it. It's just something I've just never gotten around to.
I think you will be pleasantly surprised.
I know I've seen a bit of Clam Bake, and I've seen a bit of, I think, is it Roustabout or something?
Oh, that's not a bad one.
Is that a movie?
Yeah, Roustabout's a good one.
GI Blues, I think I've seen maybe 10 minutes of.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I can remember. There's probably more that I've just seen bits and pieces of, but I just don't remember.
Well, I think if you watched Jailhouse Rock or King Creole. Both of those are fantastic, in my opinion.
I think we've got to do Jailhouse Rock, don't we? I mean, that's the classic.
Yeah.
That's the classic, the early years big movie.
I remember reading somebody had put together a list of like the best rock and roll movies of all time. And I can't remember where it came in on this person's list, but they had tied Jailhouse Rock and Purple Rain were like tied for number 5 or something.
Oh, wow.
And the reviewer was like, the charisma of these guys, you cannot take your eyes off of them when they're on screen. The movie almost doesn't matter, but when it's a good one, it helps.
It's really funny because you and me both see the similarities between these two artists.
Not many do, yeah.
But generally, I would say most Elvis fans don't like Prince and most Prince fans don't like Elvis.
I think.
So it's weird that both of us have come to the conclusion that, wow, they're quite similar in a lot of ways, but no one else has.
Yeah.
That means we're wrong, right? We're the weird ones who see this.
Yeah. I don't know. In my experience, everyone is wrong but me. So I'm not sure about that. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think so.
Let's wrap this one up.
Okay.
What's your conclusion of Good Times?
I love Side B. I can listen to every track on Side B on repeat. I think it's a good album. I think it's a shame it didn't do better, especially since, like I said, RCA had released a compilation of older Elvis tracks to compete with it, and it won. I think it deserves better. I think it's a good album, especially Side B. Side B kicks ass. In fact, I would recommend people who listen to this album start with Side B. Listen to I've Got a Thing About You, Baby first. And then.
Oh, but don't you want them to end on a high?
You're right. Well, no matter what, it's going to end on either She Wears My Ring or Good Time. Well, I like Good Time Charlie's better. All right, well, forget that. Listen to it. Listen to it in the right order. But it's a pretty good album. Side B is, in my opinion, far superior. But I've Got a Feeling in My Body and Love and Arms are great on Side A. That's it.
You know what's interesting? I won't say I like, but I have a definite interest in albums from an artist in the last few years of their life. I just find it very interesting. Like, I love the last, I think, 3 albums from Sly Stone, which were solo albums, not with Sly and the Family Stone. They were just solo. Uh-huh. And I love those albums for some reason. And even Roy Orbison's, like, his late 70s albums, which were at his lowest point in his career, when everyone had forgotten about him before he had the big comeback in the 80s. And there's something that attracts me to that sort of thing, and I don't know what it is. And same with these albums. Like, these are studio albums from the last few years of Elvis. Mm-hmm. And I am actually glad we started with these, because if I knew nothing about Elvis studio albums, I probably would have picked these anyway, just automatically, because they're from this sort of era. And that's what attracts me. And I don't know why. I have no idea.
It's reminded me how much I do like this era, because I had kind of forgotten how good it was, really. I like the 60s. I think the 60s are my favorite Elvis era. I'm trying to think if there are other artists who I've listened to toward the end of their career. And even with Prince, I fell off. I mean, I've Hit and Run Volumes 1 and 2, I barely have listened to. Artificial Age, I loved. Artificial Age, I thought was a good album. But yeah, I haven't listened to the, Roy Orbison, his later stuff.
There's a couple of albums from Roy Orbison. I think one's called Regenerate, one's called Laminar, and they're both from around like 77, 76. And it was a real low point in his career. And for some reason, when I went back, we could be doing a podcast about Roy Orbison as well. Mm-hmm. Because, again, I probably would have started with those albums. Because when I went back and discovered Roy Orbison, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to all these studio albums, I went straight to that era again. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't either.
Maybe I'll never know.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch of Frank Sinatra stuff, but I never go to the later stuff, purposefully. And the same thing with Dean Martin or Billie Holiday or Ray Charles I don't do that. I think it's probably good that we both like Elvis, but we really are coming at it from different places. Like the stuff you really like, I didn't pay as much attention to it as you. I don't know why, and I don't dislike it, but it was never my focus, and I'm kind of enjoying getting to focus on it a little bit.
Well, exactly the same. I'm way more into the live stuff, and now we're going and looking at studio albums, which again, I wouldn't have probably gone back to, really.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting, you say you love the 60s, which is, the movies, basically.
Well, basically, but there's a lot of
up to the 68 special.
Great stuff.
It's the movies, right? But for me, that whole 10-year period is just a blank spot for me, because I've never seen any of the movies in whole.
Right.
I don't think I've really listened to any of the soundtracks either.
Well, we can fix that.
We'll get there. But that's your favorite thing. But to me, that's my blank spot.
Right.
So it's interesting. But I haven't even said what I think about this album yet. I blew it at the start anyway. I said, I prefer this to Promised Land. It's got a few more tracks. And as much as I don't want to be MC and resequence track lists, I think if you took these 20 tracks from these two albums, I could give you a killer 8-track album.
I absolutely agree with that.
But again, when I see other people do that, I'm like, oh, why would you do that? Just accept it as it is. This is as it was presented to you.
Right, but this is not...
Just take it as it is. But then Elvis was sort of a different sort of
this is
animal in that way.
This is not Elvis writing the songs and arranging them in a specific way to make a statement.
And sequencing them, yeah.
Right. So to reshuffle Elvis albums, I think
it's
makes
not
sense.
Sacrilege.
Not at all. Well, that's why those box sets are so fun to listen to, because they're in a slightly different order. I haven't listened to the 70s one lately. What I was going to say about the 60s box set is that 60s box set contains no movie songs that I can recall. They still compiled an entire set from the 60s of just his other stuff. And so when I talk about loving the 60s, it's actually not so much the soundtracks. It's the things people don't know were hidden on these soundtracks. They would put bonus songs. Like Elvis does a version of a Bob Dylan song called Tomorrow Is a Long Time. And Bob Dylan said it was his favorite cover version of his work ever. And people don't know it because it was a bonus song on the soundtrack to Spin Out. Didn't get on a single. No, there's hidden gems in the 60s, and that's the stuff I really like.
We'll get to them.
So,
but I like this album. I'm not going to give it a score out of 10.
No, we haven't done that.
I don't want to start doing that.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, I like it. I'll listen to it. Again, I don't want to use the phrase easy listening, but it's an easy listen. And there's a few songs I really like. There's a few that'll just pass by and fill in the time till the next song I love. That's just how it goes. That's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to like everything.
No.
We're humans. God. We're humans. We like different things. It's fine. It's okay. We don't all have to agree.
That's true.
Some people will have you believe otherwise.
Yeah, they certainly will.
So that's the end. Thank you for listening. We'll be back again. I think we're going to do a live one next time. We've done 2 studio albums now, so I think we're going to be back with a live one next. Okay. We haven't decided which one, though, so that'll be fun to choose one.
Right, and we still might get some suggestions that send us in a whole different direction.
We could do. So thanks for listening. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.